Hi guys, and welcome back to Ask Nikki P. I'm going to jump right in. Okay. Hi Nikki, I really hope you can help me. I have been doing a lot of research on birth control lately. I'm going to be having sex for the first time with my boyfriend of a few years soon. I read somewhere that the pill can cause blood clots, increase risks of stroke, and heart attack, and all these other scary things it can do to your body. I'm 17 and I know condoms are commonly used, but they can break, and that scares me because I don't want to get pregnant, even though the morning after pill exists now. I know no method that is 100% effective, but I guess what I'm asking you is your opinion on birth control pills. Any advice you can give is helpful. Thank you. Okay, a couple things. First off, the health stuff you listed with birth control, as far as I've heard, is true. I actually know someone who know of two people who ended up in the hospital because of like adverse reactions to birth control. The first one was, like you mentioned, a blood clot, and the second one was of a stroke, and they actually contributed it to the birth control. So not to scare anyone, obviously not everyone who's on birth control ends up in the hospital, but that I just wanted to address that first. I have heard of that. The second thing is, and I just wanted to bring it up because I feel like since it's not said as commonly, I just want you guys to hear someone else saying that it's okay. I just want to say it is okay if you do not have sex with your boyfriend. I know you've been with him for a few years. I've said on my channel before, I really believe a lot of the times relationships in high school don't end up leading to marriage. I think there are a variety of reasons for that. I think oftentimes high school ends up going into college and people kind of go off and do their own thing. Also, I think there's still a lot of developing that is taking place, especially for guys, since at least from everything I've read, actually like scientifically, men develop a little bit slower than women. So they're really like changing in high school. So it's one of those things where like I personally really believe that like sex really binds you to someone, and I think that if you know that, like choosing to have sex with someone in high school, it's kind of, in some ways, just in my opinion, and like I said, I always like to know your guys' opinions down below. Just in my opinion, I kind of think it's like knowingly walking into pain, because the chances of it going into marriage are kind of slim. And I know that everything in life is like kind of up in the air. I mean, I know marriages, people get divorced, but for me personally, I do think like a really good option, and I don't think it's like old school or grandma-ish, is the option of waiting to have sex till you're married. Because I can tell you this, that like once you start having sex, like sex doesn't go away. It's gonna be there for the whole rest of your life. There is no reason to rush it. I mean, I feel that way about relationships too. I remember when I was in school and like my friends would be dating and they'd say, well, why not? I would like joke about the reason I wouldn't date. I'd be like, people with penises are gonna be there forever. Like, but it's true. It's like that half the population is not going anywhere, and you're not in any rush. And the only reason I wanted to really put that out there is because, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people on the other side, and I think that sometimes you need to hear from people actually out loud that you do not have to have sex, and you don't have to have sex to be in this relationship. I promise you, 17 is way younger than you realize. Like when you're in it, I know it doesn't feel like it. Dude, I remember being a little kid and not feeling little, you know, so I know it doesn't feel like it, but 17 is really young, and I can tell from your email that you've put a lot of thought into it, and that's really good. I just wanted to get that out there, that you don't have to, and waiting is definitely an option. So now that I've done that whole spiel, I just wanted to let you know, and yeah, I'm trying to think of what else to address in this. Hold on, let me gather my thoughts now that I just went on a whole spiel. So yes, that being said, like you said, you're right, no method is 100% effective, and you know, you still can look into birth control and, you know, condoms. Those are all options, but I feel like there's a lot of information out there. So if you want to go to your doctor or research that, that's super easy to find. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a birth control expert. I was on birth control for a really short period of time when we first got married, and the reason that I stopped is because it turned me into a crazy person. Like, I've never felt more crazy in my whole life. And I tried 3 different kinds of birth control because I guess on birth control, there are 3 different kinds of like dominant hormones you can try. So I tried all the different kinds, and they all made me crazy. I mean, it was kind of cool because it cleared up my skin. I actually lost weight. Like, it did everything. Like, I actually had really good reactions in every other way, but I felt crazy. Like, it was just so bad. And when I stopped taking birth control, I felt way better. It might be genetic because my mom actually said the same thing, that she was on birth control for a very little bit because it made her feel crazy. So, yeah, I actually don't take birth control anymore. Since then, I've just used condoms, or we just get out of town, if you know what I mean. So, that's pretty much that. I guess that's it. I keep trying to think of like every angle I need to answer this question, but I think I covered everything. As always, leave your comments down below, guys. If you have had different experiences, you have different thoughts, maybe some of you guys might be a registered nurse, I don't know. But yeah, so there's that question. So as far as the, oh, this is the same question. What would you want your 16-year-old self to know? Let me look this up. Twitter. Okay, so this question says, this is good, this is a later question. What camera do you use to film videos on your main channel? It's the same camera I'm filming with now, and this is actually a Canon 60D. It is a DSLR camera. I don't know a ton about cameras, to be honest, but from what I have seen, like cameras shoot, DSLRs give like my favorite look. I just really like the look of DSLRs. I think they make you look like soft and pretty, but everything's really clear as well. So in general, I just really like DSLRs. The lens that we tend to shoot with, what is this lens, Dan? Oh. It's a Sigma, I'm reading it. It's a Sigma Zoom 17 to 50 millimeter. And that's the lens that I pretty much shoot with all the time. It's like, we have a couple lenses, but I don't even really know how to use the other ones. So when I open up the camera bag, because Dan has all the camera stuff together, I usually just grab this lens, screw it on, and then I film it. So, yeah, and then I just use the mic that's in the camera. I don't actually use like an external mic, but Dan always gets mad at me. He's like, you should use an external mic. I'm like, it's too difficult, it's too much work. So, yeah. So that is all. Send your messages or questions or whatever to asknikkip@gmail.com or hashtag asknikkip, and I will see you all later. I hope you have a really good rest of the day, guys, and yeah, bye. I would take this time, if you haven't already, to really, I know I say this all the time, but to dive in to the things that you love.